Hey, it's Lynn, and this is Still Finding My Voice, where we figure things out one honest thought at a time. High kick optional. Well, last Sunday was Easter, and I want to tell the truth. It's actually the first holiday I'm not with my kids, and my kids are my whole family. So, yes, I went to church, and yes, I was in community, but the loneliness is still there. Because being around people doesn't automatically fill that space, and I thought it would, where my sons used to be. So last night, one of my boys called, and that meant more to me than I can explain. I've also reached out to another one and haven't heard back yet, and I'd be lying if I said that doesn't sting. I'm learning that loneliness can be real, even in motherhood, and part of this season for me is learning to let go of the urge to control when people show up and instead tending to my own heart with grace. And I also know my loneliness isn't the only kind of loneliness happening this week. I'm thinking about my parents. I'm thinking about parents with kids in the military living with that constant any day uncertainty, like my friend Bevan. And I'm thinking about the parents who lost a child this past year, and this is their first Easter without them. Oh, I can't even imagine. So if you're listening and your grief is deeper than mine, please hear me. I'm not comparing pain. I'm just saying you belong here too. And whatever you're carrying today, you shouldn't have to carry it alone. And that brings me to the C in boys. Courage. Not the loud kind. It's the quiet kind. The kind that gets you through a day like today, a day like Easter. One small step at a time. High kick optional. What is courage? Well, let's talk about courage because I think we've been sold the wrong definition. We tend to think courage looks like confidence, like you wake up, you feel strong, you feel ready, you feel clear, and then you do the thing. Not necessarily so. Real courage, especially in midlife, especially while I'm in transition, usually looks like this. You feel tender and you still show up. You feel lonely and you still reach out. You feel uncertain and you still take one small step. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's movement with fear in the room. And if you're in an empty nest season, whether your kids moved out recently or years ago, there are moments where the house feels quieter, but your love doesn't. That's what makes holidays different. The day itself isn't the whole thing. It's all the memories. It's the patterns. It's the, this is how we always did it, which no longer applies. You can feel like you're standing in the same life, but the furniture moved. So if today hits you, if you're listening and you're thinking, why am I this emotional? Or why am I fine one minute and not fine the next? You're not broken. You're adjusting. And adjusting takes courage. One of the hardest parts of the empty nest, nobody warned me about this, is how many moments are quietly brave. Like making a holiday plan when you don't feel like celebrating, walking into a room alone, eating dinner without the familiar noise, trying not to stare at your phone, waiting for it to buzz, And here's the part I want to say gently, because I know we can be really hard on ourselves. If you find yourself thinking, I should be over this, or, well, other people have it worse, or maybe even, I'm being dramatic, let me stop you right there. Pain doesn't need permission to exist. Loneliness isn't necessarily a character flaw. It's a human response to missing someone you love. And some of you aren't just missing kids who moved out. You're missing someone who died. You're missing a marriage you thought would last. You're missing the version of yourself that felt certain. So when I say courage today, I'm not talking about a big speech or a huge breakthrough. I'm talking about the quiet courage of living your life while your heart catches up. The practice, the courage ladder. Okay, let's make this practical. Here's something I call the courage ladder. Because some days you don't need a giant step, you need one rung. Pick one rung today. Rung one. Text one safe person. Today feels tender. Can you check in later? Rung two. If you're going to church or an event, stay 5 minutes longer than you normally would. Say hi to one person, just one. There's two more. Rung three. Make a plan for later so your whole day doesn't become waiting. A walk, a meal, a little errand, something simple. And here's the fourth choice, rung four. Do one nurturing thing at home. Listen to music, stretching, a shower that actually counts as self-care. Something that says, I'm here with me. Repeat this line with me because it's the truth. Just one rung, not the whole staircase. Whew, high kick optional. Today I overthought how funny it is that I can walk out in my backyard in my pajama bottoms early in the morning. And now, because humor is safety around here, here's a moment from real life. Today I overthought letting the dogs out because my backyard opens to a golf course. So golfers are out there at dawn, fully dressed, they're focused, hydrated, living like they have a personal assistant. And I walk out in pajama bottoms like, good morning, gentlemen. I am emotionally fragile and underdressed. It's awkward, but also kind of perfect. Because reinvention includes being seen before you feel ready. High kick optional. Pajama pants apparently mandatory. And honestly, that tiny awkward moment, that's courage too. I want to say something that's inclusive because not everyone who listens shares faith language, but I also know some of you do. So here's the gentle version. Community helps, but it doesn't erase the ache. You can be surrounded by people and still miss your people. And if you're a faith person, here's what I'm practicing today. I'm letting both things be true. I'm grateful and I'm lonely. And I'm choosing community as an act of courage, even if the loneliness still comes home with me. Quiet for me doesn't mean abandoned. Sometimes quiet is just space. And if faith isn't your thing, the message is still the same. You don't have to do a hard day alone. Widen the circle moment. And before I close, I just want to widen the circle again. If you're listening and your grief is deeper, if you've lost a child, or you're living with fear because your child is in the military, or you're holding a kind of uncertainty that feels like a weight. I'm not comparing pain. I'm just saying you belong here too. And whatever you're carrying today, you shouldn't have to carry it alone. So here's your gentle next step if today is tender. Pick one rung on the courage ladder, just one. And if you want to connect without explaining everything, you're welcome to message me or comment just 2 words, tender day. No backstory required. If this episode helped, share it with someone who's in a new chapter season. And if you're listening today on a holiday that feels different this year, I'm with you. High kick optional. Quiet courage counts. Thanks for listening to Still Finding My Voice.